It's 7:40 p.m. on Thursday, June 15th, 2023. It's hot. It's like 80 something degrees. The humidity is way up there. I remember at about 1 o'clock, I looked at the weather and said it was 89 degrees, but it feels like 111 in the sun. That is because the humidity was so high. There's a chance it might rain any moment right now. The temperature's starting to drop a little bit, but I don't know. It's supposed to rain like a 1/4 inch in this hour. I looked at the radar and there is a rainstorm passing by to our north. Oh, I just saw some lightning over there. Or is that just a radio tower? But up north there's a rainstorm passing by 20-30 miles away. And it looks like it's going to miss us unless something happens. Anyway, I'm hot. I'm sweaty. It is muggy. It is thick with humidity. This is the 7th and final cell of the 4th section. This is the southeast corner of my field. This is where I put the carcasses of the 2 dead cows that died in my pasture. And their bones are likely still here. Let's go take a look at them. Oh, here's a hip bone. There's a hip bone. And let's see what else we got back here. If you're wondering, the dry grass is up past my... Did I just step on a bone? I did. There's a big rib bone. The dry grass is up past my knees. The green grass is, well, if it wasn't curled over, it'd probably be past my knees. There's another rib bone. Here's a pile of rib bones. Some spinal bones. That's where one carcass was dumped. The other one was dumped over here somewhere. So I let the wild animals eat. Here's some of the rib bones. It's surprising how quickly the wild animals here will strip an animal. Within a couple days there was no meat left to skin. There's a skull. This one I shot right about here with an AR-15 round from about 3 feet away. And so death was instant. Yeah, you can see the hole here where it went in. For those of you who don't know anything about guns, an AR-15 shoots a round that's 0.22 inches in diameter, or 5.56 millimeters. And it's a tiny little bullet. Behind that bullet there's a lot of powder, and there's a barrel. And that powder, as it burns, imparts a large amount of energy to that round. And the length of the barrel allows that energy to be multiplied. So rifles are a completely different animal than pistols because of that barrel and the amount of powder they burn. So even though it's a tiny round, it's not much bigger than a 22. 22 is like what kids shoot. 22s are little tiny bullets, like, you know, this big. Just a little bit of powder, just go pop, pop, pop. So the AR-15 round just instantly killed the animal, and I wasn't even sure I hit it because there was no visible damage. And then a drop of blood appeared where I put the round through its head, and it didn't take any more breaths after that. It was done. Anyway, if you're wondering what it's like to kill an animal, that's what it was. I forgot when I took the shot, I was aiming higher, but the way they configure rifles is they want you to be on the mark at like 100 yards, I think. So if I aim at a point that's 100 yards away and pull the trigger, the round is going to pass through that point. In order to get there, it has to start below your scope or your sights, because your sights aren't down the center of the barrel, they're above the barrel. And then it has to travel up, right? So the rifle is very slightly angled upwards. And I forgot that fact. There's about 3 inches between the scope and the rifle barrel. That's about where the shot landed, 3 inches lower than where I wanted it to land. So either I should have taken the shot at 100 yards, which, you know, would be difficult to be very accurate with, especially with my nerves, or I should have aimed 3 inches higher. So the second animal I killed, I tried using a 9mm handgun, and that did not end well. My friend was there with me, and we both took turns shooting, hoping to get something. I think the first shot did kill it, but it's hard to tell. And so we took a couple shots just to make sure it was dead and didn't suffer any. But from now on, if I'm going to shoot an animal, I'm going to use a rifle. And I know there's people out there that can shoot. Here, I got this wire tied up to the fence here. I know there's people out there that can shoot a 22 at a cow and drop it. It's where you hit it that matters. There's a soft spot. Hello, puppy. How are you doing? Anyway, there's a soft spot that if you hit it just right, it'll drop the animal instantly, instant death. But you have to know where you're shooting, and you have to be dead on accurate. Which with the 22 isn't that hard. 22s are very accurate, especially at shorter ranges. So anyway, but as for me, I'm going to use a larger rifle if I have to shoot an animal. Other people kill the animals by draining the blood, like they slit the carotid arteries along the neck and drain the blood, which if your knife is sharp and you know where you're cutting at, the animal should feel very little pain and will just kind of go to sleep. I tried that with chickens. It's not very fun. The way that I ended up killing the chickens was I would calm them down. What you do is you kind of put a little bit of pressure on their back and then stroke their beak, and then they calm down and they settle their head, and then in that moment you cut off with a hatchet just behind the head. And if your hatchet is sharp and your aim is true, the head will come clean off and the bird's basically dead at that point. And if you hold on to it, the blood won't go everywhere. But if you let it run around, it will drain the blood on its own. Just don't let it get near you, otherwise you'll get blood all over yourself. So that's one way of doing chickens. So I don't see myself doing that to a cow or a sheep, though. I think I'll just shoot them in the head. You know? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, cutting a sheep with all that fur, you'd have to somehow restrain the animal. I've heard people say that it's best to kill like a cow with the herd. Like if I were to harvest one of these cows, it'd be best to do it right here. They're at peace, they're calm. The other cows don't get very frightened. The noise frightens them. But it's kind of the ideal way to go, you know, surrounded by your friends and in the place that you love. You know. So if I do decide to harvest a cow or a sheep, that's probably what I'll do, is I'll just take aim from a distance and shoot. You know, make sure my marksmanship is up to snuff, of course. Anyway, that's kind of a grim topic. But, you know, if something's born, it has to die. Life and death exist as opposites of each other. One can't exist without the other. You can't have life without death, and you can't have death without life. It's all part of the great cycle that everything participates in. This eternal round that you read about in scriptures. That there isn't anything new under the sun. You're just repeating the same things that your ancestors did. And in a way, they were repeating what you're going to do. So, like this cow taking shelter in the tree is doing what millions of cows have always done. And those millions of cows are doing what this cow is doing. They're copying each other in a way. It connects past to present and future, you know. So it's kind of a beautiful concept. Graveyards, I think, are pretty neat, as a reminder that, you're not that far from your ancestors. You know, the next moment you could be joining them. And that your struggles are their struggles, and their struggles are your struggles, and that you're all struggling together across time and space, you know. All part of the same program that's been started so long ago that we get to participate in. What a wonderful opportunity it is, too. It's a wonderful program. It's not full of happiness all the time. There's ups and downs. Every moment is just as precious as every other moment. So, anyway, enough philosophy. This field looks pretty good. The grass is growing well. It is humid. I'm sweating. Today is not a happy day. If it was hotter but less humid, I would prefer that. Just the humidity is just ridiculous. But that's what grows, right? There's Blue. Hey, Blue. You know me, right? Blue's a friendly cow. She doesn't mind being touched too much. You gonna give me another beautiful calf? Look at her belly, how full it is. Look at that beautiful belly. Hardly any flies on her at all. So, oh, Red's talking to the dogs, saying, "Get out of my grass." All right, that's enough, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.